Welcome back to Manor Lords. Last time, we founded Nasswies. We took our first steps towards stability, securing food, opening trade, and testing out the new mechanics in the beta update. And as a part of that update, we watched our neighbors grow and build impressive settlements of their own, some of which are a little bit too close for comfort in my opinion. So today, we're going to take one of them over, because we simply can't have deets encroaching upon our land. Once we take over a neighboring settlement, we'll explore it, stabilize it, and see just how well the game's generated villages actually function. And if you're excited for another Manor Lords video, hit the like button and drop a sword emoji to encourage the retinue to fight hard for the glory of Nasswies. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos in the series. But before we jump in, October's been absolutely packed for me. I've been traveling for nearly half the month, and with the kids back in school and activities in full swing, our schedule's been non-stop. When things get this busy, it's easy to fall back on fast food or skip meals altogether. Thankfully, today's video sponsor, Factor, makes eating healthy quick and easy. With Factor, I can have fresh, restaurant-quality meals ready in just 2 minutes. And the variety is awesome. They now have over 80 rotating weekly options, including more seafood and Mediterranean meals than ever before. I recently had the potato, bacon, and egg skillet for breakfast, and today I had the chorizo and guacamole taco bowl for lunch. Both were absolutely fantastic, just like basically every other meal that I've ever had from Factor. Factor's been an absolute lifesaver for me this month. Whether we need a quick dinner or my wife and I just need a decent lunch, Factor's got us covered. And they can make your busy weeks a whole lot easier too. Just head to factor75.com or click on my link below and use code CityPlannerPlaysFB50 to get 50% off plus free breakfast for a year. A huge thank you to longtime channel partner Factor for sponsoring another video. Now let's get back to it. The first thing I want to do is think about who we're going to take over. Now, my initial inclination is to take that village over because they're very close to us. But I think we should probably take a look at the resources to make sure that they would actually benefit us. Now, this looks like it has a lot of the resources that we already have. It has fish right here. We've already got that. It's got a rich stone deposit. We've already got that. It's only got a little bit of iron, some berries, and some clay. Probably not the right settlement to take over. This one right here is much the same. It's got a rich deposit of fish and a bunch of other stuff that we don't need. So that leads me over here, and this one's intriguing. Yes, we've got mushrooms again. Yes, we've got fish, but we've got a rich deposit of iron and a rich deposit of clay. Those are incredibly valuable. And everything here is burned to the ground, so they're incredibly weak. So I think that our goal is going to be to take these folks over, but to do that, we have to have influence. In fact, we have to have 2,000 influence to be able to claim this, and we currently have 610. So to claim this, we've got to get more influence, and there are two ways that we can do that. We can either tithe our food. We don't have very much food, so we probably shouldn't do that. Or we could look for some of these bandit camps, of which I see 3. My hope is that attacking these 3 and taking them over will give us enough influence to claim this land. So it's going to be a bit of an adventure, and we're going to be going all the way across the map. And that makes me think that we need to make sure that we are as stable as possible here at home. Now, there are a couple of things I've been thinking a lot about. Now, we race towards building this communal oven, and that used to be the play. If you were going to build some fields, build a communal oven, and you're good to go because you can't get the bakery right away. But because nothing is gated anymore, I think that we might want to build the bakery. And the main reason for that is the communal oven can't actually process rye. That's a problem because most of our fields are actually growing rye right now. So I think that we need to decommission the communal oven and build a couple of bakeries, one to process rye flour and the other process wheat flour. Additionally, we need to start thinking about tools. And that's because all of our buildings now require tools, or not all of them, but many of our buildings now require tools to be maintained. So look at this quarry right here. Right now, it needs maintenance. And if we don't maintain it, it could collapse. That means that we'd have to rebuild it, which would require even more tools. So I think that we've got to start thinking about working this mining pit until we take over the other city and have an unlimited supply of iron. Now, I built 6 burgage plots, and I built them all for different reasons. These ones over here are going to staff our smithy and our bloomery. So let's build those. And look at that, I can't even build the bloomery because we don't have any tools. So let's start to trade for these. And I'll make sure that we always have at least 5 on hand. This will be incredibly expensive, but we've got to do it. And so that we have a bit of money, let's find something to trade. I think we'll trade away some of our planks. And reasonably, without purchasing trade routes, that's about all that we can do right now. So we're just going to have to sit tight. We just made a trade for some tools, so I placed the bloomery right away, and we'll place the smithy right next to it. And we're going to need people to staff these. So I'll add the expansion to both this house and this house. And hopefully between these 2 parcels, we'll have enough people to staff all of these buildings right here. So now for our bloomery, I'll add 2 people here, 2 to our smithy, and I want to have at least 2 at our mining pit. But that leaves us with no workers. But I don't think that's a big deal because I want to steal someone from our forager hut. You can see that the pantry is full, and as a result, this actually isn't being worked. And that leaves us with 1 unassigned family to build things. And that's going to be really important because we're going to be upgrading both of these to level 2 buildings and then turning them both into bakeries, which means that the people who live here will be taken out of the general population. So that's why I built these couple of lots right here. We'll build the expansions and then farm these so we have a bit of extra food. And for these 2, we'll upgrade them as soon as the requirements are met, which in our case is going to be people living here. Now at this point, all of these are completely built out. However, nobody lives here, which means that we can't upgrade these or plant anything back here. So while we're waiting for people to move into the community, there's a few more things that I want to adjust. Here at the farmhouse, I think I'm going to remove 1 family and reassign them over here to the windmill. And the whole reason for that is I just want to make sure that we're making as much flour as we can, that we're processing everything. Next, I want to take the logging camp and adjust the area that we're logging. Right now, we don't have anyone working at our forester's hut, which means that we're just creating this gigantic hole right here. So let's grab the logger and change their work area to be right around our manor. And this way, they'll clear this entire area and prepare it for our castle, which we're going to build in the next one. I also want to unassign 1 family here, and that's because I want to assign 1 more family here to our granary and upgrade this and assign 1 more over here to our storehouse. This will get things moving around the map really quickly. And I'm hoping that that helps out over here at these burgage plots that we just built. Because even though we have residents living here, we can't upgrade these because they don't have access to food. So by adding the extra employees at the storehouse and the granary, they'll open up extra stalls at the marketplace, which should provide additional access to those resources to even more burgage plots. But only time will tell with that. And finally, I want to upgrade the well over here. The well is currently the base level well, and it'll only provide water to 15 burgage plots, and we are well beyond that at this point. By upgrading this, we can provide water to 50 burgage plots, which will allow us to upgrade more of them. And after letting a bit of time pass, we now have someone living at this burgage plot, and this one is ready to level up right away. So we're going to do that because we can't currently build a bakery here just yet. So now we'll take this and we'll convert them into an artisan, a baker. You know, in the past, the baker would produce additional loaves of bread. I don't know that that is actually the way that this works anymore. It seems like I probably could have kept the communal oven, but the communal oven isn't going to help you with rye bread. So the reason why you have the bakery now is specifically for rye bread. Oh well, live and learn. So even though I don't think that this is necessary, we just got a family that moved in here. I think I will convert this to be a level 2 building, and then we're going to make this a baker as well. And to make up for that, I'll add another burgage plot right here. added the extra living space right here and I upgraded this right away to be a bakery. And we still have 3 unassigned families, which is great. Now I just want to make sure that these are configured correctly. So we have one bakery set to focus on rye bread and this one right here set to focus on wheat bread. So we should be producing all of the bread now. And you can see that we now have 7 months of food, which is an improvement on the 5 that we had before. I have a feeling that this will just explode in the near future. And that means that we're just about ready to venture out into the world and start taking over some bandit camps. But I want to see if there's anything that we can upgrade. And indeed, we have 1 right here and 2 over here. We're doing that again because level 2 buildings generate regional wealth and level 1 buildings do not. And that means that these will contribute to our treasury. And that's going to be really important because the very first thing I want to do before we go and fight anybody is see if we can hire anyone. And we do have a couple of inexpensive options. However, I really think that we can take 1 and that's about it. So let's hire the brigands for hire and then let's rally our troops. So here's our motley little crew of fighters. We are going to take them all the way around the map. And one of the things I don't want to do is run and wear them out. So I just want to make sure that none of these are set to run because if any of them are, they will all run. Now they're all walking, so I'll select them all. And the first place that we want to go is way over here. So we're going to set this as our rally point and wait for everyone to show up. Now, the last thing I want to do is endanger my own troops. So I'm going to take the brigands for hire and send them out to the front. And we'll send our troops behind. And that has got the attention of the outlaws. They are right there. We are going to easily be able to take them over. And that's good because we can't afford the mercenaries if we don't take this over. So I will send the mercenaries right at them and our troops right at the bandit camp. And we're losing a couple of troops here. But it's much worse for them. It's much, much, much worse for them. In the meantime, we'll go and take it over. And we broke them. When we gained some influence, that is fantastic. So let's get them away and we'll get them marching on down the road. And now we have a new message. We have the spoils of war. We have to figure out where we're going to send the money. If we send it to the nearest town, we'd have it available to buy different things like backyard extensions. If we say it belongs to our treasury, we can use it for mercenaries, and we absolutely have to do this because if we don't, we are going to lose the mercenaries that we currently have. And just like that, we have 148 gold in our treasury and we can keep moving forward. Interestingly, there's another outlaw brigands back here. We're going to fall back. And we'll take our mercenaries and have them right here. Now, as they come forward, I'm going to take my spear militia and send them in the back. And then push forward. Broke them easily. That gave us even more influence. And that's great because we're only 700 away from being able to take over those lands now. So once again, we'll grab all of our troops and keep on marching this way because our next target is right here. So we'll send all of our troops to rally. Actually, that's probably too close. We'll send them all to rally right here. And now that we're here, we'll grab our brigands for hire and we're going to send them right in. And then as they get a little ways ahead, we'll grab our troops and send them behind. And that has caught their attention. I do not want to fight them in the woods. That will be a disadvantage for me. I'm going to actually take my troops and hide them in the woods. And now as they approach, I will come around the backside. And now we have them completely surrounded. We'll push forward and be able to take them out in no time at all. Look at that, broken immediately. That is awesome. So now we'll again grab our brigands for hire and we're going to send them in just in case. And we'll take the safe route over here. And then we'll clear this camp as well. Once again, the spoils of war, and this will once again go into our treasury. And now we're only 400 away from the influence we need to take over that region. Then our final outlaw camp is right here. So same strategy. Our hired hands will go in first. Our troops will go in second, hiding in the woods. We'll coax them into coming out. And my hope is that they go to this clearing right here. Fools. Ha 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 ha. And indeed, we've been able to surround them once again. That is a thing of beauty. Oh, and look at that. We broke them. And I'm really proud of this. We did lose some of our hired hands. We lost 8 of them, but we didn't lose any of our troops, which is really all that matters. We also have 2,000 influence now, which means that we can claim that city. But first, I don't want to pay these guys anymore. So let's let them go. And we'll grab all of our troops and we're going to march them way over here to the border. I think that this is probably the smarter route. So we're going to send them this way and then patiently wait for them to come home. And there are our heroes. Let's slow things down. And then I want to walk them over to the border, while also hiring some mercenaries. Now, unfortunately, all of these are pretty expensive. I think I'm going to hire the Wayward Sons and then just kind of hope for the best. And I'll grab them and send them behind as well. Okay, this is not a large military, but this area is still pretty decimated. So I have a feeling that they don't have an army. I don't see a manor. And I've never done this, so I don't know if the AI is actually going to fight back or not. So there's only one way to find out. Let's claim the region with influence. Oh, that feels so good. And the gauntlet has been thrown. We have a battle and a new message. We have an enemy too. Dits and Dits hate each other. And Dits is offering us a lot of money. 4,791 gold to drop all of my claims. Let's write back. First of all, it's a pleasure to meet you. And then my claims are non-negotiable. Now with that, we have to get to the battlefield or we'll lose. So let's grab our troops. The battlefield is basically this entire area. So I'm just going to go right here. And now it says I'm winning. I don't know that the battle has actually begun though. Let's go right to the center. And that doesn't seem to matter much either. So I don't want to be in the woods where it's going to be harder to fight. That's still within the battlefield. We'll just go right in the middle of town. And we have a new message. 2,091 gold to drop all my claims. Nah. But let's establish a rational formation. Archers in the rear, spear militia in front of them, and a retinue in front of them. And with 44 days remaining with another letter, 2,950 gold to drop all my claims. My claims are still non-negotiable. And peace has been declared. I don't know what that means. I think it means, I have the region. I'm going to be honest with you though. Didn't really feel good. They didn't put up much of a fight. We had Dits offering us lots and lots of money, or not very much money at the end. And ultimately, we won this by default. Now, this whole area is kind of decimated. So we've got a lot of work to do to get this place in good working order again. In fact, it doesn't even have any food right now. Oh my goodness. Now, the very first thing that we have to do though is get rid of our hired hands and take our spear militia and retinue and disband them. And that's because if we don't, all of our spear militia is taking away from our workforce over here. So it means that we're not generating as much food or as much of anything as we could be. Now, while they're marching back, I want to build a pack station over here right away so that we can trade between these two regions. And I'll place that right about here, right in the center of the community. And the whole reason I wanted to do that is we have to purchase a mule. So we'll do that right away as well. Now, the other thing I'm noticing over here in Nasswies is that we're not very happy. I think I want to make an adjustment to taxes. We've been taxing at 20%, and that's making everyone pretty unhappy, negative 13. Let's drop it down to 7. And based upon this cool new approval chart, we should start to see things improve pretty quickly because taxation is currently negative 13 and recent factors is negative 6. Now, we also have 8 unassigned families here. So I'm going to load up our granary as well as our storehouse. And I'm one family away from being able to fill this up, and I'm going to need one more family for our pack station. So I'm going to add 2 more burgage plots. But ultimately, nothing super pressing there. So let's disband these units and move on to our new settlement. Wow, this place is an absolute mess right now. So I want to think about where we need to start repairing things first, because I know that tools are going to be a limiting factor and we currently don't have any over here. So just looking at what we have over here, we don't have either our clay or our iron worked. We're going to need tools most likely to build mines. I don't see a trading post. I see we've got some storage right here. That's rubble. We've got a rubble stable right here, rubble storage right here. Storehouse right here. I was really hoping that I would see a trading post, but unfortunately I don't see one. And I think part of the struggle is I can't tell what these rubble buildings are. But this right here looks like it's maybe the size of a trading post and I can repair it. So I'm going to try. Yes, that was the trading post. That is going to be so critical for us. The other thing that's going to be critical is this is another large building. This could be a logger because I don't see a logger right now. Yes, rebuild logging camp. We're going to need one tool to do that. So we're going to have to wait for our trading post to be built before we can build basically anything else. Okay, so now we have our trading post. Let's assign some workers here and then see what we have available to trade. And it's not looking very promising. We don't really have anything, with the exception of some hides right here, which honestly, let's do it. We'll say that we want to export down to 10. For our tools, we want to import up to 5. And it looks like this place has already been exporting firewood down to 45. That seems risky to me. We'll take it down to 100. And then I want to load this thing up so we can get things moving quickly. Now, there are a whole bunch of buildings that need to be rebuilt, and even though I could rebuild this burgage plot, for instance, I don't think that's a very wise choice. That's because if we don't have the ability to get more lumber and we happen to run out, we're not going to be able to rebuild anything else. So I'm going to sit tight until we get some tools in stock. And we now have one tool, which means that we can rebuild our logging camp. Now, that's great, but we're also going to need a saw pit. That's going to be one more tool, which we again got in short order. So we'll rebuild that. And once those two are rebuilt, we should be good to go, rebuilding basically everything else. But honestly, before we do that, we need to stabilize the economy here. So what I think I'm going to focus on first is this iron deposit. If we could get the iron working supply chain up and running, we should basically have unlimited money. So I want to build a mining pit, but this is going to require, again, one more tool. And now that we have 3 tools, we can place this, no problem. Just kidding, we now have no planks. So let's make sure we've got families assigned here and to our logging camp. And now we can build our mine. Now the rest of the supply chain that we need here is going to be the exact same one that we built in Nasswies. That means a bloomery and a smithy. Though for the smithy, we need to have some rubble stone, which we are completely out of. Now I noticed that we had a bit of stone right here. So let's build this stone gatherer camp. And while we're waiting for all of that to get built, I want to start repairing things. And I want to start out with this right here. I'm noticing that we've got 3 stables, all of which are destroyed. That is a problem for us. That's going to limit the effectiveness of our animals and potentially mean that we lose them. We don't want that to happen. We've also got a storehouse right here, a large storehouse. This is really curious. We have a large storehouse right here, another storehouse right here, and another storehouse right here. That's insane. That doesn't make any sense at all. I think that we're probably going to want to consolidate some of these. I don't know what the computer was thinking, but that is not very efficient. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. We've also got a ton of homes that are burnt down, and this kind of freaks me out because we've already got a lot of unassigned families, and I think that once we rebuild all of these, we're going to have a huge need for food if people start to move in. So before we do that, I've been noticing this fishing pond doesn't seem to be depleting below this. So even though we've got 3 employees here, yeah, they are saving 80 fish. I'm going to drop this down to 40. I know we want to have a certain reserve. I don't know what that is, but ultimately right now we've got 1 month of food. That's not very good. I also want to see, we've got these mushrooms over here. Did they ever build a forager? There is a forager's hut over here, kind of by itself, not attached with a road, with 4 employees working it. That's pretty crazy. And interestingly, I can't build any roads here. My guess is this is a bug, and I'm going to see if I can work around it. So basically, I've loaded back in, and now I can draw roads. Now, this gets me thinking. Maybe this is what you need to do right now after getting one of these camps. We got to remember this is an experimental beta, so a couple of weird oddities here and there are kind of to be expected. But I got to tell you, I don't like what the computer did here, placing the forager camp right here. I'm going to decommission this. I'm going to draw a road from here, following the contour lines, out to this location, and I'm going to place the forager right here. And the whole reason for that is they've got to walk anyway. I'd rather have their storage closer to the village. That makes a ton more sense to me. And now that some of this stuff has been rebuilt, let's rebuild this large storehouse. And it looks like our mining pit has been built. We don't have the regional wealth just yet to be able to upgrade this to a deep mine, but it doesn't really matter. Let's just get people working it. Get people working at our bloomery. Get people working at our stone gatherer camp. And build our smithy. So we'll assign some workers here to our smithy, and then we've got to figure out our food situation. Now, I think for this first year, we're going to probably have to trade our way out of this mess. So I'm going to work our clay deposit right here, and we'll build 1 mining pit right here and a second one right here and get them connected up with roads. And then we'll assign some workers here, and this is interesting. 2% collapse chance. Affected by building proximity. That's curious. I'm wondering if that's because I built 2 mining pits next to each other. This was the old meta. You build all the mining pits you can, and you get as many resources out of here as you can. I'm going to experiment with something. Even though we just built this, let's demolish it and take a look at this one. That got rid of our collapse chance. So I guess we could roll the dice and have 2 mines, but it could collapse. I don't want to deal with that right now. We don't really have the resources to deal with that. So let's load this one up. And instead of having a mine right here, let's build a clay furnace. And this couldn't have come at a better time because we're going to be using these clay roof tiles to trade for bread. So I'll assign 2 workers here. And now let's head back to Nasswies because it's time to establish a trade here at the pack station. So we've currently got 9 months of food. I want to see what we have the most of. So we'll take a look at our records. And under resources, we have a ton more wheat bread than rye bread. So let's trade away the wheat bread. And this is great. We can see that our stocks are continuing to increase over the past 7 days. And over the past 12 months, they've gone through the roof. That is awesome. So again, we'll send the wheat bread, receive roof tiles, and that is a 1-to-1 exchange rate for those. That is amazing. The last thing we have to do here is assign a worker. And I just want to see, how are we doing with tools here? 103. I think that we can slow down this supply chain here. And bluntly, I don't think that there's actually anything underneath this mine anymore. There's no indicator. I'll decommission this. We may actually want to build a second pack station to send iron ore over here. So I'll build that right back here. And at our old pack station, I'll purchase a mule. And once this is built, it should go right over to this new pack station. And now we have 8 unassigned families over here. So I'll assign one over to this pack station, and then we'll establish a new trading route. So we want to receive iron ore here. And I think that we are going to send charcoal. And that's because we currently have 19 months of fuel. That is kind of outrageous. It's a 3 times barter, which means we're going to get a ton of iron ore here, which is fantastic. Meanwhile, over in our new settlement, we currently have no food. This is not good. Well, the first thing I want to do, we now have 91 gold. I'm going to add the deep mine upgrade. And then as much as it pains me to do this, I'm going to do a little bit of trading for food. And it's honestly all pretty expensive. I think we're going to trade for berries. Actually, no, we're not going to trade for berries. We're going to trade for carp because we're currently harvesting these. So it'll act as a natural backstop. So we'll say we want to have at least 25 in stock. And we'll establish a trade route to get this thing moving quickly. Now, in the meantime, I want to see if there are any backyard extensions that we can add. And it looks like there are a number of them that just never got constructed. That is crazy. So on these larger lots, we're going to add vegetable gardens. Looks like they already have goats here, a vegetable garden here. These smaller ones, we could have chickens once we have enough regional wealth anyway. And it looks like this one right here, that's rubble, actually has an orchard behind it. So I will reconstruct this one. This one right here has an apiary. This one has pigs. So I'll rebuild that one. This one again has an orchard, so we'll rebuild this one. This one has pigs, so we'll rebuild that one. And this one's at least fairly close to being able to grow crops. So we'll rebuild this one and this one. And back here we have a large building. This is a church. We're going to rebuild this as well. Okay, we've rebuilt a whole bunch of stuff here, which is great, but we've got big problems. So just as I was concerned about, as soon as we rebuilt some of these burgage plots, people moved into them, which has only made our hunger problems worse. We still currently have 0 food, so we are going to need to solve that right away. Now, I think the solution is probably building some farms. And just looking at our fertility, you can see that there is rye fertility exactly where they built all these homes. That's great. And our emerald fertility is even worse. So I'm going to need to figure this out. I think that what we're going to do is build a road back here and farm all along this tree line. So I'll place the farmhouse right here since it's not very fertile. And then we'll build a bunch of 1 Morgan fields right here. And then I'll configure each of these, and reasonably, rye is going to be our #1 priority. So we'll go rye, fallow, rye, fallow, rye, 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 fallow, and then some mix here on out. Now, because we're going for rye, we have to have an artisan bakery, and I don't know that we can upgrade any of these to be a level 2 building just yet. Oh, we've got one right here. I will upgrade this right away. And when the time comes, we're going to make this our bakery. Now, in addition to that, we're going to also have to have a windmill. And I want to keep this fairly close to the farm. And the efficiency over here is going to be perfect. So we'll just place it right here. We also have no need for the stone gatherers camp anymore. So let's get rid of this. And then I just want to look around a little bit for employees. We've got 6 fields right here. We're going to need 6 families assigned here. We're going to need at least 1 right here. We're going to be taking some families offline at this burgage plot. So I think I'm going to take this mining pit, bump it down just a bit. Same thing at this clay furnace. Actually, no, we'll keep that at 2. We'll take our deep mine and knock this down a bit. And now we've got 7 families available. But I just noticed something. We've got some rubble here at our marketplace, which could be causing some issues. And I'm also curious. We've got a storehouse, a bunch of storehouses. Do we actually have a granary anywhere? My goodness. I don't see a granary anywhere over here. This is probably half of our problems. That is ridiculous. They built 3 storehouses and no granaries. Okay. I am going to get rid of this and this, staff up this large storehouse, and then immediately build a granary. We need this right away. And I'm honestly probably going to put this right over here near our farming area. And now I've got to assign a couple of families here to the granary right away. I'm going to actually do 3. And my hope is that now that we have this, that trade that we were making with Nasswies will finally start to take hold. It seemed like it wasn't working, and it wouldn't work if we didn't have a granary, so that's probably what the issue was. I'm also going to upgrade this right away because I don't want capacity to become a problem, and upgrade our farmhouse to have the plow station right away. Now, at this point, I think that families will become a limitation, so we need to balance our needs here just a bit. So I don't know that we need to have our fisherman's hut completely staffed, considering our reserve is 40 and we currently have 40 fish here. So I'm going to take this down to just 1. And then I don't know that I added anyone here to our forester's hut. Oh, I built the wrong thing. We don't actually need the forester's hut. I needed the forager's hut. That was an unforced error. So we'll build this right away because our mushrooms should be coming back. Yeah, we got 27 mushrooms over there. I'm going to assign 2 workers here right away and then limit the work area to right here. I don't know that that's completely necessary, but we're at least making sure that they are going directly to this location. And now we've got to get some folks assigned to this farmhouse. So I'm going to add 2 right away. And then we've got our woodcutter over here. We have 11 months of fuel. I'm going to take this down to 1. I'll take our saw pit down to 1 and our forester down to 2. And that gives us a ton of workers to assign over here. Now, the other thing that I'm noticing is that it looks like everything from our storehouse has been picked up. So I'm going to remove 2 families here. And that's because I want to proactively assign 1 here to the windmill so I don't forget to. And then we have to upgrade this home right here to be a bakery. And this is not the ideal location, but we're going to have to work with it. And it is producing rye bread, so we should be good to go as soon as we start our harvest. Oh, but unfortunately, there was an extension here, so we actually have no unassigned families. So let's remove 1 from our deep mine, and now we should be in a fairly good spot. And oh my goodness, while we were waiting, I added some livestock here, and apparently the bandits have sensed weakness and decided to bring the heat. Oh my goodness, that is not going to be good. Let's pause it, and I will call up our military and try to get them over here. But I think that we're going to have to really rely on hired hands this time around. Thankfully, everyone's really cheap, and the local thugs are going to show up right here in our community. So we'll hire them. And I'll also get the Brotherhood of the Forest. And we'll rally them all right into the heart of the city. And this is considerably less impressive than I was hoping it would be. They are not going to do much. But I will bring them here. Hopefully they don't break right away. And thankfully the Spear Militia is right here running to help as well. And we'll hide the retinue right here in the forest. Now look at that. Here they are. They're making a run for it. I'm going to slow down and try to stop them. I'm going to fall back. They see us now. And I think our best position is going to be to stand our ground. I'm very curious as to where our archers are. It looks like, oh, they're way over there. They're way over there. That's a ways back. I'm going to send our retinue to handle these guys right here. We've got brigands right here in the center. And we've got our spear militia fighting off on the side. We'll push forward. We'll stand our ground with the retinue and push forward. And I think I'm going to take these brigands and send them this way because our retinue is not in a good spot. Actually, I'm going to send... I can't lose the retinue. I can't lose the retinue. The spear militia is going to come help out. Oh, this is not good at all. This is not good at all. I'm having our remaining, our final retinue. Oh, this is bad. Fall back here. And the enemy's been spotted again. There's even more. Oh my goodness. This could not be going worse for us. These guys aren't running. That's half the problem. Get your tootses over here. My fear at this point is that if they don't see all of these guys, they're going to start burning things down. Our retinue is gone. Our spear militia is almost gone. Oh no, and now they are coming to torch everything. These guys are still way back here. Oh my goodness. This could not have gone worse for us. This is terrible. Terrible. And they're coming through just burning things down. And finally they're here. That's at least preventing this from getting worse. But look at this. They didn't get our clay furnace. Oh my goodness, they didn't actually burn anything down. Okay, we're going to escape with a fairly decent position, all things considered. Yes, we lost all of our military, but it could have been a ton worse. And we just broke them, which is fantastic. So there's one more brigands over here. And we'll break them right away. Thank goodness. Wow, that was honestly pretty heartbreaking. We'll decommission our hired hands. And we'll assign someone to work at our wooden church because we've got a lot of bodies. It is not a good situation over here. So unfortunately, we lost our military, but we are at least moving in the right direction with food. So I guess that's one small win. Now with fuel, we're moving in the absolute wrong direction. I'm going to add one more worker here. And now we once again sit tight and hopefully we start to see the food rolling in. Now, after making our way through the harvest, we've had a solid 3-month supply of food for quite some time, which makes me feel like we are at least at kind of an equilibrium. There is something I'm a little bit curious about though. I just want to make sure that our trade route with our pack station is actually working. And that should be easy to figure out now. All we have to do is look at our resources and see if we have, or at least have had, normal wheat bread. And indeed, we have, which is great because we're not actually producing this. We're producing rye bread, which apparently we have yet to produce. Now, unfortunately, we did have a drought, which meant that we didn't actually produce very much rye, which means that this next year is going to be a little bit of a bummer. But hopefully next year we end up producing a whole bunch. But still, this leaves me with the confidence to do a couple of things. First, I want to rebuild every bit of rubble in town. That means fully staffing up our logging camp here and then rebuilding all of these as logs become available. And then in these couple of burgage plots where we haven't been growing anything, I'm going to set up some new crops. So we need some quick food. I think that will go with beetroots for here. And right here, we'll go with carrots. I'm going to also add another worker here to our fisherman's hut. And we're going to fish this down to 30. And then finally, I'm going to add one more worker here to our mining pit and one more over to our clay furnace so that we are working this as quickly as possible so we can trade this for bread. Then over here in Nasswies, I just wanted to see how things are going. We have 16 months supply of food, 24 months of fuel. Things are moving in a good direction here. We do have a decent amount of money as well. And look at that, 91 tools. we could probably start trading away some of our tools, maybe even some of those roof tiles, really cranking up our budget and starting to replenish our military, which has been completely depleted. But my friends, I think that is going to be for the next one. And in that one, I want to build our castle. I also want to build up our military and continue to reach equilibrium, particularly in our newest village, because I'm not really satisfied with a 3-month food supply. But at least for now, it feels like we're in a place of relative stability, even if it is not as comfortable as I would like it to be. So for today, we're going to leave it here. And I really hope that you've enjoyed this one. If you did, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. And I want to thank you so much for your time today. There's a million things that you could have been doing. You decided to hang out with me, take over Ditz's city, and try to fix it. And for that, I appreciate you and I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining me. I can't wait to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.